Olá, seja bem-vindo e seja bem-vindo ao Campo Diplomático, espaço dedicado às relações do Brasil com o mundo. Eu sou Gabriel Estrela e hoje eu recebo o embaixador do Azerbaijão, Elkhan Polukhov. O diplomata está no Brasil desde 2017 e tem aprimorado as relações bilaterais e comerciais. O Azerbaijão é um destino importante para as exportações de carne, feijão e tabaco brasileiro e o nosso principal parceiro comercial no sul do Cáucaso. Ambassador, thank you so much for your presence here. It's an honor to have you again at AgroMais.
Thank you very much, Gabriel, for this invitation. It's always pleasure to be in this studio, always pleasure to talk with your previous reporter and now with you. And I'm pretty sure that this important program will play its own positive role on disseminating information about agribusiness of Brazil and Azerbaijan and vice versa.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Well, let's get to the chase, right?
Sure.
I think the most important and recent topic at hand is the conflict in Ukraine going on. And I was wondering, what has been the impact of this conflict in Azerbaijan at the moment, especially with the agribusiness sector?
Yes, very unfortunately, this conflict is still on its active phase in the region. We are immediate neighbors, neighbor of Russia. We had distant but very close relation with Ukraine. With both countries, we cooperate in different spheres of economic, especially and including agribusiness. Both countries are our market to export our products, but we also received some products from these two countries. That's why this ongoing conflict, this ongoing situation, definitely will have his impact to the agri sector of Azerbaijan in the future. Now it is winter in our part of the world, and it's not, let's say, agri season if we talk from agriculture point of view, but very soon the harvest period going to start in both countries. And from this point, of course, definitely it can lead to some consequences, but let's see what's going to happen. And we really believe and hope that this conflict should be settled by peaceful means through the negotiation in framework of international organization or mediators. And we strongly believe that it's going to be settled based on international law and inviolability of sovereign borders of international recognized states.
Well, Azerbaijan is located in a region that's very important geographically, especially in terms of transportation of these agricultural products, and you are a big producer of petrol gas and as well as fertilizer. And Brazil is at a moment where fertilizers are in need as a consequence of this conflict. And I guess my question is, what are the new opportunities now at hand with the exportations of fertilizers from Azerbaijan?
You know, we can talk about two segments of this situation. You are correctly mentioned that geographically Azerbaijan located in a very important position. It is located on a crossroad between East and West. It's shortest way from Russia to the Iran, two big countries of the region. So it's also most convenient way from China to the Europe and European market to the Chinese market. That's why we should look to the situation, at least in connection with Brazil, from two segments. Let's start with fertilizers. Azerbaijan started to produce fertilizers using his own natural gas very recently, just a few years ago. But already last year in 2021, around 70% of fertilizers which produced in Azerbaijan were exported to Brazil, which means that we are playing not a crucial but essential role on supplying Brazilian market with fertilizers. And we also understand that current situation in region can lead to the increase of the need of fertilizers. That's why that opportunity can be considered as new windows where we can continue existing cooperation and look into the future. But parallel to that, we don't want to limit only with that. Of course, we also want to see more Azerbaijani products on Brazilian market. Brazil is a huge country with huge potential. And from that point, we believe that our business people should look more deeply into the existing potential of Brazilian market to start to export different products, also Brazilian Azerbaijani origin, agriculture origin, which can find his own niche. We're not a huge country. We are considered as a mid-sized country, 86,000 square kilometers. But from agriculture point, agriculture is second item of our export in our budget. So first, as you correctly mentioned, it's oil and gas. And after that, it's agriculture. And that's why we also considering these new opportunities during the new situation as a potential, where we should talk to the partners, trying to find our own, let's say, segment and niche without standing to the competition with traditional partners of Brazil. And from that point, it's important. Talking about transit and transit potential of my country, as I mentioned, we are geographically located between Europe and Asia.
Yes.
And several years ago, we finalized a railway project which connected Azerbaijani railway system via Georgia with Turkish railway system and gave us railway access to the world ocean. That is why we believe and we think that logistic company of Brazil should look to that new railway as a potential way of supplying Brazilian product to the China. China is the biggest trade partner of Brazil, and a lot of Brazilian product go to the China. It's go via ocean, but it's also go via Europe and using Russia railway system. And that railway system which we offer, it's a new addition to the existing logistic ways, and it's shortest and one of the most convenient ways. And it's also cover Central Asia, which is another market of around probably 80 million people. And from there, from Central Asia, it's connected to the China. That's why Brazilian producers, Brazilian exporters should look to the region, which is chained, it's Turkey, Georgia, and Azerbaijan, as a new existing potential. It's already work. It's already one of the potential way of carrying products to the Europe and from there to the China, but Brazil also can join to that. And I think it will be new windows of opportunities for Brazilian side.
Perfect. Now your agriculture sector is also very crucial for you because it employs between 37 to 40% of your population. And it is also important because it contains a lot of area of the country. And 2020 was an important year for the conflict with Armenia, which opens up a lot of this territory as well to be explored. And my question is, what are the opportunities in order to enhance this, this technological use and development, especially with cooperation with Brazilian technologies in Azerbaijan?
Yes, you are absolutely right. In 2020, we settled finally the conflict with Armenia over Nagorno-Karabakh. We liberated occupied lands which were under the occupation around 30 years, and it was more or less around 20% of our territory. So you can imagine that if Brazil do not control Amazonia, the same size. From that point, definitely cooperation with Brazilian institution who provide know-hows in agriculture sector is very important. Brazil has huge experience on development of agriculture sector, and we are now busy with cleaning these lands which are heavily contaminated by mines, very unfortunately, by building railway, communication links, putting pipelines, water, gas, electricity, and everything, because all of this territory, most of this territory were abandoned and looted for 30 years, and now we're building everything from scratch. That's why when you build something from scratch, you have an opportunity to choose which technology you're going to use, how you're going to use, how far you can look with that technology from a time point of view, how long this technology can be valuable for this area. And from this point, it's very important to cooperate with Brazil, with Brazilian producer of agri-technology techniques, with Brazilian institution who have invention in agri sector, who can come with their ideas, but taking into consideration specificity of our specification of our agriculture business. Because in Azerbaijan, by law, we are prohibited to produce heavily gene-modified products. Our products are organic.
Yes.
It can contain only small percentage of gene modification. That's why you cannot expect huge harvest, for example. But parallel to that, it's very healthy. And it has, of course, its own market. And for Azerbaijan, it's also very important is policy of food security. Because every government today are more busy with idea of securing food supply rather than, and after that you're talking about cybercrime or others. First, you must ensure that your population will have enough food and food supplies. And we in our part of the world, we have 4 seasons. That's why you always have to have some storages to store food for winter, for spring. And this is very important.
Yes.
And I visited very recently Rio Grande do Sul. It was a big agri exposition there. I saw the products which Brazil produce, your techniques, different techniques. And for me, it was strange why it's not so promoted in our part of the world. Why these producers of different machinery do not come to Azerbaijan, to our part of the world, to present it. Because we also working with traditional partners, similarly like you working with traditional partners. And I think it's time to look for new markets, new opportunities, and new partners.
Do you think that we don't have this exposition in this part of the world because of some limitation, or perhaps there is cultural nuances that we have to overcome, perhaps, in order to be able to communicate better, in order for us to share our knowledge, with our science and our techniques with your region of the world, for example?
I asked this question to from organizers of the exhibition. I also asked this question from Vice Governor of Rio Grande do Sul, where he kindly received me. And I said, it's such an international level organization, expo, with a presentation of more than 200 companies on a territory of, I think, 96 hectares. Huge. But it is nothing on English there. So foreign visitors can come and just be comfortable with getting information, to go and talk with different producers, different, institutions who are presented there. And I will promise that next year they're going to take it into consideration, make at least more accessible to the people from another countries. It's accessible, it's open, you can go, of course.
Good.
But you have to get information in time. You have to be sure that the foreign visitor will feel comfortable there. He will be supplied with materials. He will be able to communicate with local producers. From that point, I got a feeling that because Brazil is a continental country, you are very big, you are a huge country, and you are very self-sufficient. And that exhibition, at least, it was more inside looking or continentally organized for continent, for Latin America, or people who speak Portuguese, who speak Spanish, who can comfortably come and take part on this exhibition instead of making worldwide. And it's potential for that, to be honest.
Well, that's a good lesson for us to take in account. And I think there's a lot of that we can learn as well from Azerbaijan, because you're also a very important, not only organic producer, but also an exporter within your region of premium agricultural products, which include fruits within other products. And Azerbaijan is in a sense, for having 9 out of the 11 climate zones, it's in a sense a thermometer for climate change as well. And that is very interesting because some countries perhaps could have maybe a low level next to the ocean and maybe be more hindered to floods, for example, or having other climatic problems that we're starting to face now. But Azerbaijan can be seen as a thermometer. So I was wondering, what is the government doing as well to adapt itself to this condition, to the situation that we see year after year becoming more concerning?
Azerbaijan part of practically all international initiatives related to the ecology and protection of ecology. And from that point, we always raise this issue on different floras. Currently, Azerbaijan is chairing in non-aligned movement. It's second after United Nations, largest international organization. And as a chair of this organization, we raise different issues of common concern, because non-aligned movement compose on itself or present mostly developing countries or underdeveloped countries, and their voices not always can be heard in different organizations where big powers usually not dictate but provide agenda. Let's be honest from that point. That's why for us it's a big concern. We are a small country, we are not main polluter of the air, and we are not big polluter of the ocean or anything else, but we're part of the world. We're part of this globe, and every small changes affect us too. You mentioned that Azerbaijan enjoying to possess 9 climatic zones. Yes, you're right, with small territory, relatively small territory, we had that luxury. But with that climate change, who knows how long it can last? These 9 climatic zones give us a lot of opportunities in developing agriculture sector, where you can develop products in subtropics or other zones. And it's not only one, let's say, or 2 zone oriented. It's very diverse. That's why we believe and we want that this issue become not only issue of concern of small or medium-sized countries, but all the big players in this area or in this arena. Because again, we are not a biggest player or big player, even big player on that issue or on creating that problem. That's why, as I said, we also need Brazilian technology in agriculture sector who can help us to adopt for new situation, for new changes, for new climatic situation which affect us too. We had a territory, we are located on the shore of Caspian Sea. So from one side it's sea, actually geographically it's lake, it's the biggest lake in the world, but because of the size, everybody call it sea. It has its own unique flora and fauna in Caspian, outside Caspian, around Caspian Sea. We have the mountains, we have the deserts, we have semi-deserts, and we want to preserve it because it's also open opportunity for example, ecotourism, where people can come and enjoy the real nature, not artificially created one.
That's good. So environmental preservation, agricultural development, all in the same package, which
Sure.
is something that Brazil is also trying to, in doing very well in ensuring. Are there opportunities for technological innovation in Azerbaijan? Have there been implementations? Because the government has also been able to ensure a larger, let's say, to ensuring that the population is able to feed itself with Azerbaijani products, given also the resurgence of the prices of foods all over the world, given the conflict and other measures. What opportunities are there for us to maybe cooperate in this technological use, perhaps in low carbon agriculture, precision agriculture? There are a lot of things I think that we can mutually benefit, no?
For sure, definitely. As I mentioned, you have very advanced technologies, but Azerbaijan itself also has very advanced and very positive experience on employing of rural population via creation of family farms, while we are providing specific grants and credits to the family business or business which are run by a woman and elder people. So this is opportunity from which give from one side new position, new jobs, allow people feed themselves, but parallel to that earn money and also supply to the market which can be after that exported to Brazil. Why not? And vice versa, I think this positive experience of Azerbaijan can be studied here, can be seen as a model of building such approach to the development of agriculture business. Because today where we seeing tendency when people trying to move from the rural area to the urban, to the cities, big cities, and it led to the kind of erosion of tradition of agriculture, where everything moved to the hand of big farms with little population there. And it's, we believe it's not very good tendency. While we had these new inventions which we invented in rural areas, it's helped to keep population there, place where they live, study and develop. And you know, with modern technologies, I think slowly the difference between village and city will go down. When you have an internet everywhere, people can easily access to the inventions, to the know-hows, even sitting or order whatever they want sitting in the village. They don't need to come to the big cities. All of these companies, logistic, it's helped to decrease dependence of rural people from cities, from urban. And from that point, again, we have a positive experience on that. And we're ready to share with you how we came to that.
In terms of that, we're talking about connectivity and how, as we see here, the 4.0 revolution is coming about, and we have farmers that are using more drones in their plantations, but also using the internet and different technologies online in order to help them work their fields. But this transition between field and urban areas is a tendency all over the world. And do you think that it's possible to maintain this balance, especially in a country where not most of the population, but almost 40% of the population is employed with this, and let's say younger populations having a tendency to go to the cities wanting jobs that are modern and technology oriented, but now the field is also being technology oriented. So it's a possibility of inversing this process, is it not?
I think it's issue of future and it's issue of scientists, academician, to look to that process from academic point, how positively or negatively it can influence to the current balance between urban and rural, let's say, population, because it's not only business, it's not only involvement in agribusiness, it's also difference in culture. little difference in the urban and rural culture. While this new modern technology, this new house, and especially, unfortunately or fortunately, COVID, show us that you can study sitting in your village, in your home. You don't need to come to the city to enter the university to get all of this knowledge. So it's opportunity for people without leaving their home, without looking a job in a big city where it's big competition, of course, do what you traditionally do better than others. Because urban people has a difficulty to adopt himself to the rural culture. And similarly, rural people has a challenges when they come to the big cities to adopt himself to the other realities, to the even space, let's say, from that point. That's why it's issue of future. But you mentioned that in Azerbaijan, around 40% of population employed in agriculture sector. By letting them move to the city, you have to create also job places in the cities, which is another challenge. And you cannot create these new job places without building economy which also connected to agriculture, because food security is most important thing. And from that point, again, it's probably better to create industries in a rural area, letting people work there without leaving their traditional place of life, instead of moving them to the big cities and make them overpopulated on a small space, which also led to some ecological difficulties and problems with cleaning, maintaining, purification of water or air in the big cities. That's one of the policy of my country, and that's why we're putting a lot of efforts to create equal opportunities for people in urban and rural area. And thanks God, we have that situation. We have very low unemployment. It's around 4%. Poverty, it's even less. We are lucky to have practically 100% of literacy of population. And this open opportunity for rural people also to be equal partner with urban person, who of course currently has more access to the higher education or advanced technologies, but slowly it's getting to the balance.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's very good. An example as well. Ambassador Polukhov, thank you very much for your visit and for sharing your knowledge with us. I think we have a lot to learn and a lot of opportunities to take advantage of.
And thank you very much for inviting me here. We believe that through this kind of programs, we definitely can encourage our business people to look to each other more precisely, with more interest. And as an embassy, it's our job to always keep our door open for this kind of people.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. E no Campo Diplomático de hoje, nós falamos sobre as relações entre o Brasil e o Azerbaijão, destacando as oportunidades comerciais e da cooperação agrícola entre as duas nações. Você pode rever este programa, também outros programas do Campo Diplomático no nosso canal no YouTube. E muito obrigado pela companhia. E até o próximo episódio. Até já!